Thanks for the love, Vic.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, Dow?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together,
how you salsa.
we are Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Last night, it was Drew Brees' night. In front of the home fans on Monday Night Football, he passed with this touchdown, 62-yard touchdown. That's the way to do it. He passed Peyton Manning's all-time career passing yards record.
He did
Passing yards is basically the metric, the counting statistic that can match you up with other quarterbacks in their career. But that said, Jalen Rose, why isn't Drew Brees celebrated and appreciated like other great quarterbacks of this generation and of all time?
Well, a couple of reasons. Blindly not necessarily taking to totality situation and record and circumstance and just the quality of your body of work. Initially, people just jump right to how many championship rings does somebody have.
Of course, but let me say something to that is, if you said to me, who's a greater quarterback, Drew Brees or Dan Marino, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, oh, Dan Marino for sure. And not only did he not win Super Bowls, he was losing teams. But continue.
But also, it's the measurables of sometimes how you get it done. And Drew Brees is precise. He's also stoic with his demeanor a lot of times. He just goes about his business. He's not thumping his chest a lot. He's not making crazy comments in the media. And sometimes you don't see that rocket throw you'll see from Dan Marino when he's throwing it to Duper or Clayton that just wows you with his ability and his talent. And so when this conversation does take place, it's going to be like, how many rings does? Oh yeah, Tom Brady has 5. Joe Montana has 4.
That's where it always ends
Terry
up.
Bradshaw has 4.
Really, what I think it is, it's the precision, it is the demeanor, and it's also just the lack of highlights, lack of true wow factor plays. The Brett Favre, how did he do that? He's, if you said who would you rather watch play quarterback? I would choose Brett Favre over Drew Brees. If you said who would you rather play quarterback for your team? I would say Drew Brees over Brett Favre. But I think that's really part of it, is those signature moments, because Tom Brady also plays a death by 1,000 cuts, no flashy deep balls, no crazy runs, but he's had those big moments. And I think Drew Brees has had the same consistent but persistent good quarterbacking, but lack of those big clutch moments.
Also, to further his legacy, he went to a New Orleans team that was called the Aints for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to turn around a culture for a football team. So a lot of times, initially, we weren't paying attention. People were still trying to compare what's happening with Eli, what's happening with Phillip Rivers. Okay, which one of these guys is really going to emerge from that class?
Yep.
So his level of excellence and his consistency, you want to start to now divvy out the credit. You're going to give Sean Payton a lot of credit for being a terrific play caller, designing all of the things that you see happening out there on the field. You're going to give talent to the backs. Now he has Ingram, he has Kimura. They're one of the best 1-2 punches in the game. So there's a lot of things that happen that are moving parts that a lot of times we take the pressure, we take the credit solely off Drew Brees that he rightfully deserves. But when you look back at his totality, a Super Bowl champion, they carried the defense that year when they won the Super Bowl. A guy that's also found ways to reinvent himself. When I ask you, name me the 2 best receivers Drew Brees has ever had, who would you say?
It's hard. The whole thing is hard. But another thing is, he also has this reputation for, being such a great person. And we actually got a little look into that last night because he was mic'd up during the pass that earned him the record.
I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, buddy. Hey, boys! How about that, huh? Yeah. How about that? Hey, I love you guys so much. Hey, you're going to accomplish anything in life you're willing to work for, right? I love you, boys. I love you.
I love you can accomplish anything in the world if you want to work for it. They're I want to watch a movie when we get home.
I want to make some popcorn and raid the refrigerator because we celebrate
That's
tonight.
What I want to
Can
accomplish.
I eat as much candy as I want
cake?
tonight?
Yeah.
I think he always handles himself with class. And sometimes in a me first generation, a lot of times we look for what's loud. Like, what are they saying on social media?
Of course.
What are they saying in the media? He consistently goes about his work. He's the athlete that's dressed in overalls. It looks like work, so many people miss it. He's not giving you the flashy run and the big time, like, signature season individual for somebody else that he plays with on the outside. Tom Brady had that with Moss. He gave us that year where it was like,
I mean, don't forget
whoa.
Montana and Rice. Like, it's like, and you're like you mentioned earlier, he hasn't really had the support of great wide receivers, but nonetheless, he has the record. But there's one thing about this record.
Joe Horn stands out.
You know I can go negative, right? You're not going to go negative.
Ain't really seen Jimmy Graham since he left the Saints.
I'm going to go negative on this, Jalen Rose. If I break a record, which is literally like the biggest record at my position, and I break it on Monday Night Football, the sport's biggest stage, you gotta give me something better than a laminated piece of paper. Dog, he got a laminated piece of paper. They handed him a laminated piece of paper in 8x10. They just handed it to him. Like, a plaque, a trophy, unveil a statue, light some fireworks. You can't just give me basically what our rundown looks like and be like, here you go. It's ridiculous.
Well, just like I don't look at the rundown, I wouldn't look at that. I agree with you. I think like he would have deserved more than a laminate, but I think you're jumping the gun.
What are you talking about?
It was during a game.
Jumping the gun?
He's been there for a really long time.
Don't give him anything.
And people sleep on the fact that he played 5 years in San Diego, hurt his shoulder, and it was a low percentage chance by some doctor's account that he wasn't going to play again. So I think to pump your brakes, he's going to get celebrated. He's going to get the vehicle. He's going to get all of the gifts that you feel like and I feel like he deserved. Just going to happen during the football game.
Well, during the football game, during this big moment, it was emotional for Drew Brees as we saw when he was mic'd up.
Can I tell you something that was emotional for me real quick? Watching Jordan Reed catch a pass. It's going against him in fantasy. And for all I know, if he doesn't catch a ball, I win.
No one cares about your fantasy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But people care about Drew Brees. You know who else cares about Drew Brees?
Oh.
This fan. Take a look. He's crying. I mean, he's emotional. Look at him. Look at the big man with the tattoos and the beard. Just crazy. He's not just like, it's not one tear like when you're watching a movie. Like, he's really crying. Like, he's into it. Soft move or boss move, getting this emotional over Drew Brees breaking the record.
Boss move.
Okay, explain.
It's a boss move because he's emotionally invested. And a lot of times people forget the term fan is short for fanatic. Mm-hmm. And we don't know if Drew Brees' performance or his philanthropic endeavors and what he's done for New Orleans has that guy so very fortunate that he gets a chance to watch that guy play quarterback for his team.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Brees. Congratulations to that fan. And come on, NFL, you got to do better than a laminated piece.
They're going to give him some.
Moving on. You know, Giannis gets talked about a lot as we head into the season. It seems like every year is supposed to be the year where he makes the MVP leap, and it doesn't really happen. Well, Alex Kennedy had a very interesting tweet about Giannis. Here it is. NBA insiders believe Giannis Antetokounmpo will eventually leave Milwaukee. While Giannis may not care about being a small market, it's unlikely that other stars would join him in Milwaukee, and that's the angle other teams may use to sell him on leaving, asking for a trade. Jalen Rose, he's still on contract with the Bucks for 3 more seasons. This is not like a Jimmy Butler situation. But do you see Milwaukee in the next 2 years being able to put a team around him that makes him want to sign an extension?
My distinct answer is I hope so. And there were a couple of things in that tweet that I want to highlight. The word eventually, which is infinite. It could be 1 or 2 seasons. It could be 8 or 9 seasons. The other thing I want to highlight is we got to also start giving the players some responsibility for recruiting people to come run with them. I think that gets lost. Okay. When we were trying to put together the Fab Five, we were at the McDonald's All-American game. And we arranged it so we can have rooms that were joined by a bathroom so that we could try to figure out a way to make it work. And we were recruiting other players to come run with us too. Calvin Rayford, don't go to Kansas, come play with us. Big Dog Robinson, don't go to Purdue. Come play with us. Voshawn Leonard, my high school teammate, don't go to Minnesota. Come play with us.
We always say, even when I asked the question, I was like, can the Bucks put the players around him to make him want to stay?
Correct.
And he put the players around him to make him want to stay. He's not a rookie anymore. Like,
correct.
He's
at the
established in this
All-Star
league.
games. He got everybody on the text. He's playing in the biggest leagues. He knows the players intimately. You see LeBron James moving pieces around the chessboard.
That doesn't mean Giannis can't do it.
Correct. He can make it happen.
I like how you flip that. Let's move on to news that matters. The Rock Allegiance Festival was in Camden, New Jersey this Saturday night. I missed it. Did you attend?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, it is an allegiance of rock and roll bands and acts, one of which is new metal, rock rap phenomenon, Limp Bizkit. I did buy a Limp Bizkit album once upon a time and listened to it all the way through. I can't lie. And Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit was on stage, and he was just doing his thing when Shaggy 2 Dope of the Insane Clown Posse tried to drop kick him. It was not a successful drop kick. Fell short. Fell short like an air ball. Jalen Rose, a lot of questions. Number one, how do you feel about the drop kick as a move in general?
This was staged.
I
like the drop kick in general because it takes a lot of courage if you're going to take both of your feet off of the ground during an altercation. But that was staged.
We got bamboozled?
Yeah, that was staged.
You think that was staged?
Yeah, that was staged.
And the thing is, I know you haven't seen this video yet. Correct. That was the first. I bet you don't even know the people involved.
Correct.
You just know that was staged.
That was staged. Because number one, I've been to way too many shows. You should try it sometime. Concerts are awesome. When an artist is performing, you can imagine there's so many people that are watching. From security to people that they travel with to other acts to people are part of their entourage, number one. Number two, he had a clear shot to go kick him and run through it if he wanted to. He stopped and airmailed
I don't know.
it.
I mean, I feel like, look at the security guard gets him right away. He hurt himself because he didn't land right.
But look,
and also,
why he
if
stopped?
it was staged, why wouldn't he kick him? Why, if we're going to stage it, I'm going to land the kick. You know what I mean? I'm going to land the kick.
So we can talk about it like we're doing right now?
If he kicked him, we still talk about it.
Just like...
If there's Limp Bizkit's in the news, it's going to be on Jalen.
I grew up watching WWF, and I understood that though the physical mechanics of the individuals are real, they're acting for an outcome. And a lot of people think that probably happened in the MMA fight between Khabib and Conor. Like, did they try to do that to hype the next fight?
No, they didn't.
I don't believe they did. But in this case, he could have clearly kicked him. Okay, he could have ran through, could have kicked him, could have pushed him.
Maybe he's just
he
not a
could have
great
punched
drop
him.
kicker.
He could have ran him off of the stage. He stopped short.
Well, we have to stop short, but stay tuned because after this, Jalen Rose is going to take us behind the curtain and unravel the mystery of the Phoenix Suns GM being fired this close to the start of the season. That's next. Limp Bizkit Day here on Jalen and Jacoby.
Can you do that again?
Like a chunk.
I forget that you're a white guy sometimes.
I'm so white.
Do
Never,
that again.
ever. That's how I play the bass. Playing the bass, Jalen. Never, ever, ever forget that I'm a white guy. And if you do, I will remind you very quickly with some of my behaviors.
Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
It tastes mighty fine.
Jalen Rose, there was some very interesting news in the NBA yesterday. Suns owner Robert Sarver made a move, and GM Ryan McDonough is no longer with the organization. Okay, GM getting fired, not that big a deal. GM getting fired just days before the season is curious. What do you think about the timing of this move?
I have two words that come to mind for this one.
Oh, okay.
Ready for
It's
them?
going to be a short segment.
Sam Hinkie. I see a team that was tanking but didn't tell the world, but it was obvious by the product that was on the floor. And when it was time for somebody to take the baton, once you have Embiid, once you have Simmons, once you have Saric in tow, to take them to the next level, you fire him and you bring in somebody else.
It certainly looks, we know that Booker's good. He just signed an extension. It certainly looks like Ayton could be pretty good based on what I've seen.
And the reason why I feel this way is if you know that you're going to fire your general manager, guess when you do it? Before he takes somebody in the draft.
Yeah.
Because usually he's trying to shape the roster based on what he feels like it should be for the future.
Well, to be fair, the draft, they didn't have a lot of decisions to make at the number 1 spot this year.
You do have decisions. You could trade it.
Sure.
And so when you allow him to take that pick, or when the organization takes that pick, maybe against his will, which I doubt, you're basically set for what you're trying to do. And they've done that the last couple of years. They got really nice prospects. Now it's time to see if they can become the level of player of an all-star caliber. So now James Jones, who I want to see get this opportunity. I played with him my final year in Phoenix. Know he has a great relationship with the owner, Robert Sarver. Like we're seeing with Elton Brand, you may be seeing a version of that taking place in Phoenix.
One thing with coaches, when coaches get fired, we kind of have a good idea why. They've got a win-loss record. They've said things to the press. When GMs get fired, I feel like we don't have all the information, especially when it comes to curious timing like this. There could be tension going on that we don't know about between ownership, between other people in the front office. So there's only so much we can say about the timing, but something happened. Something happened.
And I got to tell you a dirty secret.
What's that?
We know the GM's records too.
I guess so.
The coaches.
I guess so.
And it's really dubious based on the timing because you're putting together a squad and we're about to go out and perform in regular season games next week. For you flagrantly to upset the apple cart means when you brought the people in to replace him, you told yourself you were going to do it anyway. So it sounds like a conversation of why not just do it right now.
It's not just Ryan McDonough. It's also the assistant GM, and it's also one of their scouts. Like now you have to go hire people. Well, those same Phoenix Suns were performing last night in the Bay against the Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry, in one possession, just reminded everybody of his brilliance. He not only steals the ball from the Phoenix Suns, goes down the other side, up, little move here, little move there, gets to the rim. It's just like sometimes Steph reminds us of his brilliance because he hasn't been the MVP. He hasn't been the finals MVP. He is sort of neck and neck with Durant. But who do you think is more important to the Warriors? Steph Curry or KD?
Steph.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because when people talk about building teams and ask this question to people, you'll stump a lot of people in arguments. They're going to name a lot of people, and nobody's going to say Steph Curry. Who did the Golden State Warriors build around?
Steph Curry.
And the last time I checked, they won a championship before KD arrived.
They didn't build around Klay Thompson or Draymond.
And they won 73 games. So he drives and became the anchor of what they hoped to get accomplished, which allowed them to acquire KD, not the other way around.
And when they acquired KD, they won 2 straight. And Steph Curry also had something very interesting to say to the media about their expectations this season. Usually what athletes do is they downplay things. Oh, we're just trying to take it one game at a time. And, we're trying to make the playoffs and then see what happens. The regular season's long. It's important. Well, here's what Steph Curry had to say about their expectations. Quote, "We talk about the three-peat just because it's in front of us. I don't think that's something that's repeated every single day. But when we start the season, obviously we lay everything out on the table. What's at stake in terms of our expectations?" What do you think about Steph Curry putting on wax that they're championship or bust?
He's a son of a gun, literally. Father Dale played against him, had a quick release, long-time career, great shooter. Steph Curry understands, because he's been in the gym for so very long, it's okay to embrace the reality. And he knows that when Boogie comes back, Dale Curry, his father, the son of a gun. And he understands that to three-peat is strictly something that does not take place, and it is really special. And he plays for a coach that won 3 championships with the Bulls, 2 championships with the Spurs, and 3 as a head coach. So he understands how to get them there as a leader. So I have no problems with him owning it. I didn't want to hear a stock answer. But here's what people got to pay attention to. Boogie ain't going to be playing in the beginning of the year. And I got a trivia question for all you basketball fans. Name the 3 or 4 people that's going to be playing up front at center. You're going to get to know them this year because you don't know them just yet.
Looney, Hill, McCaw? No,
He's a
too
guard.
small. Yeah.
Bell.
Oh, Bell. That's right. Yeah.
So, like, those guys are going to be playing quality minutes.
Zaza, he ain't there anymore.
He's in
right?
Detroit.
Yeah.
So that's my point. So while they will have a chance to win it all again, of course, when you're competing against them, you got to say, where are they weak? And that's a position that they have to now develop somebody to play quality minutes. So for my 2 goals for the Warriors is to do that first and foremost with the 5 spot. The other thing is, they need home court advantage. Boston Celtics are coming. And 6 of the worst 7 or 8 teams in the league on paper going into the year play in the East. The Boston Celtics play 52 games against that conference.
Those players, yeah.
They get Kyrie back. They get Gordon Hayward back. They have a legitimate chance to have the best record in the NBA. They won 55 games last year. Jason Tatum's going to take a leap. Jaylen Brown's going to take a leap. Terry Rozier made a name for himself. They brought back Marcus Smart. So if I'm the Boston Celtics, and that's the second thing for the Warriors, I'm trying to get the home court advantage against them in the finals.
Jalen Rose, no one loves lobster more than you, right?
Nobody.
Every time we go out and lobster's on the menu, what do?
Grill, well done.
Order it. No matter, even if there's just lobster in a dish, you order it.
Correct.
Lobster ravioli, Jalen wants it.
No doubt.
Love lobster. Well, Jalen Rose, I found someone that loves lobster.
Lobster mash.
I found someone that loves lobster more
Lobster
than
mac
you.
and cheese.
Listen to me. I found someone that loves
Lobster
lobster
bisque.
more than you. This man is dancing with a lobster in the club, and he's petting it. Jalen Rose, he's waltzing with the lobster, and I love that move at the end where he pets it. Look at him right here. Boom, he goes for the full pet of the lobster in the club. Homeboy brought a lobster as his date to the nightclub. Does this man officially love lobster more than you?
Soft move.
Oh, come on.
Soft move.
Oh, come on.
Number one, because I'm jealous.
Oh, you're jealous. That's why. You're just jealous.
That he's giving the lobster more attention than I could
just
ever.
jealous.
But number 2, he need to be finding somebody else to talk to.
Oh, you don't think people are coming up and talk to him?
No.
That's a conversation piece.
No, he looks
they
weird.
Are. Oh, they are. Oh, weird plays. Weird plays.
I didn't see nobody trying to come up and talk to him.
We watched an 8-second video. I promise you, he went home with a bunch of ladies in tow.
No,
and
he
the
didn't.
lobster had 3 ladies. He had 3 ladies. Oh, definitely.
He up in the club smelling like fish.
Oh, that lobster was wearing perfume.
Come
You
on,
take the
man.
lobster out, you clean the lobster up.
Stop
That lobster is the best wingman I've seen.
No,
that is the best wingman I've seen.
You better put that lobster in a
You're jealous.
Ziploc.
Don't be jealous of the
Stinky.
lobster, man. Don't
You
change
need to
the
find
channel.
somebody to dance with.
Don't change the channel. Because after this,
Don't nobody move.
can I speak?
Nobody
Can I
gets
finish the
hurt.
segment?
Nobody move. Nobody get hurt.
After this, we'll give you a look at ESPN's over 20-hour documentary about the love of basketball. That's right after this.
It tastes mighty fine, especially on nights that are mellow. Yes, we like beer.
I am the $5 lunch from DQ, and variety is my modus operandi. That's Latin for new burger, new salad, and strips, all with a DQ Sunday. That's English for Carpe Diem. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Seasons may come and go, but this one will arrive with a bang. It will bring sweet victory on the darkest of days. But like the best seasons, it will bring us all together. Brace yourself. This is about to get interesting.
Rated E2M.
The most anticipated games of the season have arrived. Available now from PlayStation Store.
PlayStation.
Our new hot, fresh breakfast will get you the readiest. Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
The EDT yard sign stands watch over your home and family. 140 years of tested, trusted, 24/7 protection. And a custom-built system with video doorbells, indoor and outdoor cameras, locks and lights, carbon monoxide detection, and fire and smoke alarms. Now get our lowest rate for fast response monitoring at just $28.99 a month. About $1 a day for ADT. Call or go to ADT.com.
I was looking for somebody who wanted to find love.
At eHarmony,
We ask you questions so that we can match you for a lasting connection.
I found my person.
I really found my true love on eHarmony.
eHarmony.com, the #1 trusted dating site. Start for free today.
My credit card didn't go through, I'm ballin', I feel like I'm Goku. My credit card didn't go through, I'm ballin', I feel like I'm Goku. Ballin', I feel like I'm Goku. Ballin', I feel like I'm Goku. Goku. Feel like I'm
The NBA on ESPN is back October 17th, presented by State Farm.
Basketball, a love story. Tonight at 7 p.m. on ESPN. And also, the second episode is at 9 p.m. on ESPN. Make sure you tune in. It is excellent. And then real basketball on Wednesday. We've got the Pacers against the Bulls at 8 p.m. We've got the Warriors and the Lakers this Wednesday at 10:30. And before all of that, you can catch Jalen on Countdown. And every single morning, you can catch Jalen on Get Up. They'll be breaking down Game 4 of the Yankees-Red Sox series and much more from the NFL and college football. Right now, though, it's time for you and me and Method Man keep it moving. Jalen Rose, not everything is worth discussing. If you would like to discuss the topic, you say hit the brakes. If you would not like to discuss the topic, me, you, and Method Man, just keep it moving. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
Dana White has some information about a potential Khabib-Conor rematch.
Hit the brakes. I was all in.
Dana White said that immediately Conor McGregor has already reached out to him and asked for a quick turnaround rematch. Do you think Dana White should grant him this rematch?
Yes, he should grant the rematch. And unlike you, I'm excited to see it. The problem with it is what happened post-fight with Khabib. Everybody saw that take place, and somebody from his entourage jumped into ring to confront Conor. What people aren't anticipating, Conor's response. And he's not going to take this too lightly. And I'm just trying to figure how they're going to go weeks promoting the second fight, being in the same place at the same time where the bad blood has not only spilled out of the octagon, but it's personal.
Remember Conor McGregor, before the fight, mind you, a fight that he knew he might lose, he signed a deal with UFC. There was a multi-fight deal. What Conor needs to do for himself and what the UFC needs to do for him is put him out there and get him a win or two before the rematch against Khabib. That's what I would do if I were them, because that's the best business decision for all parties.
It ain't the best for Conor because he already got his bread. He like, I want to fight Khabib.
He's not getting his bread unless he does the fight. If he gets 2 straight losses, that's not good for Conor McGregor.
But the bottom line is, fight number 2, same result.
Exact thing. That's why I don't think it's a good idea. Next, of course, whenever there's a big fight, there's new information from Floyd Mayweather about a fight he's going to be in. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
I don't think Floyd is fighting again unless it's against Manning because that's easy money for him. Keep it moving.
Okay.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
The Red Sox beat the brakes off the Yankees
Hit
last
the brakes.
night.
We in New York.
I was watching the game. It got boring. It got fascinating. I mean, they piled on and ended up being 16-1. And then a dude hit for the cycle. And this is the interesting part for me. Severino showed up to the bullpen about 10 minutes before the first pitch of the game. What do you think about that part?
That's not his normal preparation. And as an athlete, or as what a lot of successful people will tell you, is time management is key. and approach, whether you're somebody that's superstitious, and baseball players usually are.
A lot of routines.
They have
162
routines
games,
that they have to go through in order to give themselves, in their mind, optimum performance. So if that was disrupted, you clearly see the result of it.
Here's what happened. He thought the game started at 8:20. They had a game this series that started at 8:20. He just messed up. And he'll never say it into a microphone, but I bet he told his best friends, I thought the game started at 8:20. I didn't know it was at 7:40. Moving on. A newscaster in Philly has a way to fix the Eagles. He wants them to stop having sex. Keep it moving or hit the break.
That's a little too personal. Keep it moving.
Okay.
Jalen been moving up. Jacoby moving. You know we keep it moving up.
Draymond Green, although they won the championship, is still a little bitter about something that happened. Draymond Green says that he should have been first team all defense of the year. Let's listen to him speak about it.
I was second team all defense. That's crazy. Probably a little bit on me, but I don't think any voter can tell me 5 defensive players better than me. I'll wait.
I spent all morning, me and you had this conversation at length, and I tried to come up with 5 that were better than him, and I was reaching.
You was
really reaching.
One of you was
really
like Patrick Beverly.
I was
like,
reaching.
Man, you going into the archives.
I saw a challenge. I tried to accept the challenge, but I will say to you, to Draymond and to all NBA fans, there are not 5 defensive players better than Draymond in the game right now.
I like that he's owning this, because playing defense is something that makes the team better. It's not like he's saying, throw me the ball more. It's not like saying he wants more shots. He's actively taking a role in knowing on certain possessions, and this gets thrown around a lot with like LeBron James, for example, but it's not true. Draymond Green is the one player in the league, Anthony Davis is in the conversation, that at different points of the game, they actually guard 5 positions.
Yes.
It's not hype. It's not hyperbole. It actually takes place. And so for that level of productivity on that end of the floor, I definitely can't name 5 guys better. And as a voter, I'm almost sure I had him first team.
And not only that, is guys that make clutch shots. Like guys just happen to just come up when the team needs it the most. He's like a clutch defender. Like in clutch possessions, he ends up getting a steal or knocking off somebody or blocking a shot or getting a rebound. I love Draymond Green so much. Have him come on the show. Can you text him?
I got you.
I want him on the show, please.
He said he will.
I want him to replace you when he gets retired too. Moving on. Liam Neeson, the actor, claims that a horse remembered him from a previous movie role in which they worked together. We keep moving on that.
We keep it moving.
A horse recognized him.
Dog.
He got recognized by a horse.
Nah, dog. I ain't rolling.
What?
That's the home.
Keep moving on that.
Not the Home Alone guy. What's the movie when he was trying to get his daughter back?
Taken.
Yeah.
A former #1 overall pick could be coming off the bench in the second half.
This is just bizarre to me.
Okay, so Brett Brown came out, and remember, it's early October. He came out and said that Markelle Fultz will likely be starting the first half, but not starting the second half. This makes no sense to me. Why is he doing this?
This means the organization has told the coach that their #1 overall pick must start.
It must mean that.
Because the season hasn't started. So therefore, you're already taking him out of the lineup for the second half of games.
Dog.
What if he had 25 in the first half?
What if I've got like 25 and 6 assists and I've only missed 3 shots? You're really gonna look at me in the face at halftime and be like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna put Covington in your spot right now. That'll make me crazy. Like the idea that you would say this in mid-October and just be like, oh, we're gonna put JJ Redick in there for the second half. He's got a better 3 percentage. I'd be like, what? You see what just happened? Why would you do this in October? It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
It makes no sense.
Coming up next on Jalen Jacoby.
Not to bring him off the bench or start him, to discuss it at this point of the year.
Yes, and to have it be like a rule. Coming up next on Jalen Jacoby, some really, really interesting footage. One of Bronny Jr.'s, LeBron's son's teammates, was live streaming from inside the James home. I don't think it was authorized by LeBron. We'll show it to you after this.
My mom was freedom, and my dad, adventure. They baptized me in mud.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, LeBron James is always in the news, but recently it seems like Bronny His son has been in the news. He plays very well in AAU team, the blue chip basketball team. One of his teammates went over to the James home. You know, they're friends. Not only did he do that, he live streamed from the home with the teammates inside the cars, showing off the car collection. You know, talking, just kind of doing a live show from inside LeBron James's house. Then also went through the sneaker collection after he was done with all the luxury vehicles. Jalen Rose, how do you think LeBron feels about this?
He's not happy about this, but most parents would be unhappy with this, regardless of their financial status, because you heard that term. What happens in this home stays in this home. And so it could be a violation of privacy, except you don't want to take it too serious because they are kids. You are letting them come over there. And you have so much money, like everything becomes a museum to them. It becomes an antique to them. Of course. And they're so enthusiastic about being there. But here's what I want to ask you. Is Bronny in any of those videos?
I believe he's next to the gentleman streaming, Mikey Williams.
So that makes it official. That makes it official.
But that makes it official that I believe LeBron is going to have a talk with his son about this. Right. That's what's official about this. I believe LeBron's going to be like, okay, next time you have your homies over, like, we're not going to be live.
Because let me tell you what nobody wants, city or suburbs. Somebody streaming from their home.
Yes, especially looking at all the luxury goods that are in that home. Moving on, Jalen Rose. We have on tape the greatest athletic achievement our species has ever seen. Watch this video. I know you haven't seen this yet. Do you see this man? Okay. Yep. Keep watching, Jalen. Look at now he's doing the spin with the limbo. I don't know what to call this sport, but I love it. It reminds me of when you were a kid and you would be like, the floor is lava. Look, if you can see Jalen Rose's face right now. Look at this. This video isn't over yet. The backflip, the trampoline, land on the ball, another one of these things. Like, it goes on a little too long for my taste, to be honest with you. It's like, I get it, dude. You're really good at hopping around and balancing on stuff. But here's one thing I want to point out. This guy gets all the props, but whoever stood there all day and videotaped this through all the different takes it took, that's who the true champion is. That's the real MVP.
Do you think they stopped it, chopped it, and cut it in any way, shape, or form?
There's no edits. That's no edits whatsoever.
It's really impressive. It's really impressive.
How many
it's
times,
a small space.
How many times do you think it takes? How many takes do you think that was?
100. Right off top.
That was like 3 days worth.
Right off top.
We'll be back tomorrow with another dope show to step to. Thank you so much for watching Jalen and Jacoby. And do not forget,
I don't believe you
to
don't like
subscribe to Jalen and Jacoby on the ESPN app, Apple,
Thank you.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
You are far too kind.
You got to give the